When things push our buttons, we react. Can people make you mad? Can people hurt your feelings? A lot of people say, well, yeah, but actually, people can't make you mad. They can't hurt your feelings. They cannot even make you feel guilty, not even your mother. And I know some of you are probably saying, you just don't know her. But actually, people can't make us react. That's our choice. But they can push our buttons. So one of my favorite topics to teach is the topic of emotional intelligence and how to learn to become more aware of your emotions. And as your buttons get pushed, as you get more and more irritated, annoyed with people, you begin to get pretty angry. How many of you would agree that once your emotions get to a certain level, we don't think very clearly? We can't think of the right thing to say. We can't calculate the best move to make because we're so blinded by our emotions. So one of the things I love to teach is how to deal with it when your emotions get high. Because once your emotions are about here, we need to bring them back down. But most of us don't even notice our emotions until when? Usually when they're here, once they've exploded. So one of the most important aspects of emotional intelligence is to understand when your emotions are climbing. At a certain point, before it gets too high, you must do something that you all know very well. If you ever found yourself on fire, what do you know to do? Run, right? That's not going to help you. So instead, we all learned in school what you should always think to do if you find yourself on fire. What do? 3 steps. Stop, drop, and roll. We all know this, right? Well, it's the same thing when you find yourself emotionally on fire. When your emotions are high, we can't be effective. So the moment you're noticing your emotions getting pretty high, you've got to stop. Get out of this situation. You might have to tell someone, excuse me, could you give me a few minutes? You might have to tell someone on the phone, would it be possible to call you back? And so you can get some distance from this situation. Then you must do something to drop those emotions back down. You can do some deep breathing techniques. The fastest way to get it out of your system is physically. You could sit here and you could shake your arms. Now, I sometimes have my audience just everybody put their arms up and just kind of do this sort of movement here. The harder you do it, the quicker you'll bring your emotions down. But some people, like, you're kind of like doing it this way. You're probably going to have to do it for about an hour before it actually brings it down. Yet, if you could really get it out there, and I sometimes tell people, go to a really quiet place, away from everything, away from other people, maybe a bathroom stall, and then do something sort of like this. I'm 52 years old. That's not so easy anymore, but I will tell you, you do that for like 5 seconds, it'll bring your emotions down. Then you take a few breaths, and then you decide how you're going to roll. But you only want to decide what action you're going to take and how you're going to take it once you've brought those emotions down. So the 3 steps for emotional intelligence is, once you notice they're getting pretty high, stop. Don't move any further. You must do something that's going to drop your emotions down. Now, you all know each other well enough, or yourselves well enough, to know what's going to bring your emotions down. But deep breathing works. Exercise, getting it physically out of your system, works well. But always drop those emotions before you decide how you're going to roll. Now, one of the challenges is, what happens if somebody else's emotions are high? Can you make them stop, drop, and roll? Ma'am, you need to stop, drop, and roll. Is that going to go well? It's not. So, first of all, you never want to say you need to with anything when people's emotions are high. And calm down is not going to work well either. So what you do, though, is you do the one thing they would never expect. When their emotions are high and they're angry, they're upset, they're using language you don't like, do they think they have the right to be like that? Do they have the right to say that? They think so. What do you think? Do they have the right? Our first thought is no, and we want to make them wrong. Remember earlier I had taught, don't make people wrong. What you want to do is the opposite. If you want to calm someone down who's upset, you do the opposite of making them wrong, which is what? Making them right. So you find a way to say something empathetically that will make them right. So if you can empathize with them and say, if I saw it that way, I might be just as upset as you are. What do you think would begin to happen when somebody is really upset and you connect with how they feel? they immediately bring it down. So try to empathize, put yourself in their shoes and communicate in an empathetic level that you get how they feel. Once they understand that you get how they feel, they're more willing to work with you and talk to you. That's the key to emotional intelligence when working with other people. So the key for yourself, stop, drop, and roll. The key for other people, find a way to make them right by connecting with their emotions, by saying an empathetic statement that says to them, I get how you feel. If I was in that situation, I might feel the same way. It's the most powerful element of working with human beings who are emotional beings. Working with those emotions means you'll be able to find more effective ways to work with people.